Now, let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Bonnie Builder, and let's clear up gay culture. The old gays serve sass, sex, and queer history on new podcasts. The TikTok famous foursome known as the old gays are stepping off your screens and into your ears with a brand new podcast called Silver Linings with the Old Gays. And they provide some interesting details on old, gay, and the love of sex. Robert Reeves, Michael Mick Peterson, Bill Lyons, and Jesse Martin have captured millions of hearts online with their dance moves, sass, and unfiltered honesty. And now they're bringing that same bold charm to a podcast that dives into LGBTQ plus history. Steamy stories, love, sex, and chosen family. In the premiere episode, Peterson laughs and says, quote, "Younger generations think of the period that we grew up in as some sort of dark age, which it wasn't. It was a whole lot of fun despite all the terrible tragedies, especially in the 80s. Lyons adds, quote, "Our history is one of the things that our audiences always ask us about because they want to know what it was like in the old days for us. To be able to inform our younger viewers is very special." When asked his favorite part of being gay, he says, quote, "Having sex with men. These guys also have taught me a lot about myself, which I very much appreciate," end quote. Martin rounds it all out with a message of resilience and self-love, taking a motto right out of the RuPaul handbook saying, quote, "I don't need the world to love me because I love me," end quote. Silver Linings with the Old Gays is now streaming on the iHeartRadio app and wherever you get your podcasts. I am very, very, very excited for something like this. History on its own is something that we need to learn a lot about, especially in the dark times we are currently in. We need to know where we came from and what happened way, way, way back when Faye was born. So I'm very excited for a podcast like this because I just love to sit and listen to like my elders here just talk and tell me what it was like before electricity, like what happened way back in the heyday. So I'm very excited to hear these old men who have been lighting up our lives for a number of years now on the social medias and the television, all that good stuff. And they just have so much energy and so much life in them. With all that they've been through, they have life in them, which is something you don't typically think of an elderly person having the will to live and the will to just like be a person and to experience joy and laughter. These four gays created their own unity, their own family. When they thought old gays couldn't have a family and they were going to die alone. No, we form our own families. We form our own communities. We form our own joy. And these men are continuing to live. And I find that so inspiring.
And you know, we stand on their shoulders, you know, and I what I love about this is that, you know, they have a platform to really tell their stories. The thing is with gay culture, I noticed there's this thing about being young.
Ageism.
Yeah, the ageism. Yeah. I have a friend that's in his 60s. He's a gay man. And he was saying to me recently, he's like, "Raji, you know, I really had to get used to not being like the hot thing anymore when I go into spaces, like gay spaces." And he says people really start to like disregard you. And so I'm so happy about this sort of thing because, you know, we stand on their shoulders and we have I'm putting me in it because I'm a trans woman of a certain age. But what I'm saying is elders have a wealth of information that we can share and impart to the younger generation. And it's something to be like, you know, appreciated about it and upheld. You know, I notice in Western culture, a lot of times the elderly are like disregarded more. In Eastern culture, you don't see that as much.
They hold all the secrets.
Honored.
They hold all the secrets. And it's true. I mean, let's think about this. I mean, God, you know, the Stonewall riots, right? Let's think about AIDS, right? Like, you know, I know a bunch of folks that are a little older and they live with the survivor's guilt, you know? I don't know what it's like to be talking to all my gay boys one week and then the next week having some of them disappear. I can't even freaking imagine living through that, right? In a time when LGBTQ plus history, which is American history, by the way, is erased from every single school and book known to man, we need our elders to remind us about that shit, to remind us when the lesbians were at the bedside of the gay men back in the 80s, right? Because people forget that.
Girl, that was not, I call it the horror days. They were just horrible. And I saw so many people die. And it's like you would see somebody one time in a club and like a few months later you see them again and they had what we call the look. It was this look that they got. It was like, and they just wasted away. And it was just so many people that just lost their lives. And so we've come so far when it comes to HIV health and the medications and all. But I always remind people, listen, there were so many people that died that we stand on their shoulders because it was no joke. And society didn't give a damn because for the longest, it was the gay disease.
Mm-hmm. They actually called it that.
Yeah, they did.
Cancer or some shit like that.
Did. Only homosexuals got that disease. And I think, there were a few things that happened, like Magic getting it. That was a wake-up call. And also when Ryan White got it, the little kid, because people can open their hearts to children. But it was a time.
And we've moved forward.
Yeah.
That also stayed in the past as well.
Yeah.
Running into talking to women that don't know that they can take PEP and PrEP.
Yeah, right.
This is 2025 right now.
And Faye, I love your point about the oral history because they're trying to stop the books, but we have mouths.
Yes, right.
And we can tell our children.
Yes, ma'am.
We can tell and so that's how the history continues.
Yes.
I'm in that space right now. I have a group of 20-something-year-olds that I hang with, and they always ask me, they're like, what was it like?
Teacher Trinity.
And I'm like, gather around, children, gather around. And it's actually to straight guys too. Most of them are straight, and they're like, what was it like? Like, was there internet? I was like, it wasn't an internet. When I was, when I was in college, like it had just started, but it didn't have all the social media and apps and everything. I know I will 100% be one of these old gays when I'm older. And I know I will be probably sucked and tucked and everything, and I will make sure that I'm the trade of the old guys because that's just what I'm gonna do because I'm probably ageist too,
Trini trade. That'll be your new name.
But frown don't frown, and you still be sexy as hell. So it'll be a good.
That's what I think, and also I've been realizing, like the other day. I mean, it's such a little side comment, but there was this young guy who I thought was really cute, and I started to talk to him, and he was like, "I'm sorry, but you look way too young for me." And he was like 20-something, and I was like, what are you looking for? He's like, I'm looking for somebody in my 50s,
looking for a daddy.
50s
and you're
or
like,
something.
You found them.
And I'm like, okay, well, I'm a lot older, but I understand what you're looking for, So there is that thing that's there, if you want.
That interest is still there, though, and there are some young people that, are dumb and stupid, but we can, show them some stuff, like Bonnie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we've got to
dumb and stupid.
We've got to take the 20-something-year-olds, right? And go gather around. Let's tell you these stories because
show me your stuff, baby.
Forget them.
Yeah.
We cannot
Look,
forget
she's
these
pulling up.
If you want to be,
right
entertained, I got that from you. If you want to be entertained, ask an elderly gay person, how did you come out? No two stories will be the same. And it'll be the most entertaining, engaging, probably heartbreaking story you've ever heard.
And authentic.
Authentic, true to life. Just sit down with some older people and be like, what was it like coming out for you? When you're in an environment where you can talk to like just queer people in general, just start asking like, what was the coming out experience for you like? Because everyone has some sort of story. Some people are still actively in that story. Some people haven't started that story, but it's the story that we all have. So just start asking, especially the ones who have been the pillars of our community.
I love that.
That's a great idea.
To sit next to you and to have you say trans woman of a certain age, it's such an honor to hear that. Because there was a time where we didn't think that was possible. So to have trans women, the trans community growing old is such an honor.
Oh my God, Bonnie.
That's such a huge, huge thing.
You hit on it because the average lifespan for a trans woman of color is 35. So honey, I'm a dinosaur. I'm old. I mean, I feel like that. I mean, because, to know that I lived beyond that. And so that's a great point you made, that finally we're seeing trans people become elderly, like grow into seniors. Yeah.
No, not enough of you.
Yeah.
How about that?
Not
We
enough.
need more. We need all of you. All of you.
But thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom on a regular
basis.
My
all of
pleasure.
Us and
anybody who will listen.
Sharing is caring.
Follow Raji on her TikTok. She gets a little more elaborate on what sharing is caring. How about that? And that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.